What
Oh
up?
yeah.
We're live. OG Logic number 7. What's good, homies?
What's good, bro?
Seven.
Number
Seven.
7. I got it right this time. All right.
Hold on. Let me do it. 7.
Oh, okay.
Switch up the numbers.
I gotta say, you
Hold-
doing it
I
like
can't. I can't do 6 fingers in one. But yeah, 7.
Hey, essay is number 7. Essay.
Yeah. In Romanian, you'd say șapte.
That's 7.
Șapte is 7 in Romanian. Yeah.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
man. OG number 7. I actually need to share this. So we got a topic here today. Larpers gonna LARP. Holy
Larpers
smokes.
are gonna LARP. They
Larpers
are.
That's just oh god, where do we start with this one? Where do we start with this one?
Why don't you start?
All right,
and
yeah, because probably out of everybody here, I was basically in the manosphere / red pill zone, and I kind of made an exit sometime back. I kind of said that I can no longer associate myself individually with red pill. That I do learn some of the terminology, the quote unquote science of it, and the theories. Vast majority of it is theories, but in general, I used to call myself red pill, Muslim, all this stuff. I dropped all that. I'm not really on that anymore. I do take some information from those guys, but red pill and the manosphere in specific, and all that stuff, I'm kind of like I've distanced myself. And I talked about this, and I'll give you guys an explanation as to why. I called it red pill rot. And we're actually going to come into this because actually, Bobby, you were talking. This is not a hypothesis. This is a theory, an observation that I made about the red pill. And the red pill, what it does, it demonizes women to a degree. Well, actually, let's say red pill doesn't really demonize women. I'm gonna defend the theory a bit, but a lot of the guys inside of the zone of the theory, that inside the red pill zone, they take it too far. And so what happens is when you boil down people down to their base, behaviors and instincts and manners and whatnot. Guys start to get a very nihilistic perspective and view of women. Well, she's not your woman, it's just your turn, type of mentality. Don't have a wife and kids, just go out and enjoy the decline. And all of this type of stuff, where it's just a fear. Well, this is what I call it. It's a fear for doing what they really want to do a lot of times. Some guys actually, they just want to go out and they just want to square everything they can get their hands on. That's some guy, But most guys, most healthy, emotionally and psychologically healthy men, they want to have a relationship, they want to have children, and so these guys, what is they're learning how to bang women or how to get women from a very raw attraction perspective of the game, and they're creating an environment that they despise. We hate whores. Learn game and bang whores. You got these guys out here doing stuff that is layers upon layers of contradiction in terms of what they say they want to see in society and what they're actually working towards building in society. And I had to just say, this is a red pill rot. I call it red pill rot. That when you get into the point where you become so nihilistic, you're just just screw it. I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do and throw everything all under the bus. And then that's exactly what you see. So I backed away from the entire manosphere of red pill type ideology in general, in terms of identifying myself as red pill. Do I have connection with a lot of these guys? Yes, I have a working relationship with some of them, a good relationship. But really, it's I have to limit myself as a Muslim, in specific, my exposure and contact to it, because no one's immune to it. If you spend enough time in that mentality, and then to top it off, that mentality, there's a saying. I know I'm on a rant, guys. But
no, it's all right.
Thoughts because your thoughts become your actions, and your actions become who you are. Basically, that's the very short version of it. So if you're gonna sit here, walaikum salam wa rahmatullah, everybody will give me the salam, hello, to gracious. So if you spend enough time in there, and in that, you're gonna eventually become that. And I've never seen any good out of that from the perspective of a Muslim. Now everybody likes to try and protect themselves in the red pill zone. There's no morals behind it. There's no this and there's that. Well, what are we, savages now? I mean, it's a mess of an ideology in general when you really break it down. And there's no morality in red pill. And Rollo says this, and everybody knows I have a good relationship with Rollo. But I disagree with him in this. You have to add morality into it, even though from a raw scientific perspective, there isn't any.
Right.
Agreed. but we are not animals. You know, we're human, and we have morals, we have ethics, we have virtues, we have values. And if we take that out of the equation, then what's left behind? What we see now in the manosphere, which is just straight chaos. And because there's no morality in Red Pill, the idea, we now got LARPers, because you can just fake it and act like you're something because you don't have any ethics. And so this entire game mentality has transferred not only to women, but to the internet, to amongst men, to where you just got dudes who are a bunch of fakes and flakes. They learn how to fake women to get into their pants, and now they're trying to fake guys into getting into their wallets.
Yeah.
And yes, my homie. Rant.
Let me ask you something real quick, Craig. Are you on the line connection, the hard line connection?
No.
Because okay. No, because it's breaking up a little bit. You're getting pixelated. Yeah,
so I'm on cable, but it's Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, you know.
Okay, just making sure, because I was like, well, what's going on, man? What's happening over here? But because I thought you were hooking up, but it's okay. It's coming in a little better now, but it was breaking up a little bit.
I need to get my own cable Wi-Fi. This is gonna sound crazy, but I'm on my ex-wife's cable line. I don't think her husband knows. I don't think he appreciates it. I don't say anything. So if he wasn't here, I could probably run a line down there. But you know, now that he's here, I think.
Oh man, the lives we lead, huh? You know what? Right? Hey, and let me tell you something, man. Disagreeing. And by the way, hello everybody that's coming in. We appreciate you here. Everybody that's saying hi and everything back at you. You guys are the reason why we're doing this. Disagreeing with somebody's ideas, that shouldn't be a bad thing. It shouldn't. It's how you vet ideas to begin with. You know, so I mean, as long as you're not making a personal attack on someone, you know, which I have to admit, I've been doing both. But I mean, like I'm talking about you, Craig, in particular. You know, I mean, it's how ideas can be fleshed out, so to speak. But the thing is, too many people associate their ideas with their own person, right? So even if you are gonna, you know, say something about, well, I don't necessarily agree with that, it seems like a personal attack to them, because then they're like, oh, you know, who the hell are you? And you know, and they start getting all crazy or whatever. My deal is that the world has worked a certain way from essentially the beginning of time, from back before we even knew how to record history. It was working, and men and women had a certain dynamic and relationship with each other. And now we have social media, and we have basically a soapbox that anyone can stand on. Anyone can shout their ideas out into the ethosphere, right? And be king for a day. And there's a lot of crazy stuff out there, and a lot of it is going unchecked. And it's like, wait, things didn't go right for thousands of years, and all of a sudden you made a social media account and put a little, you know, Joker avatar up or something, and now you have all the new ideas on masculinity and relationship advice and how it should be run. There's a lot of fakers out there. There's a lot of people that aren't posting their receipts. There's a lot of people that I've met that I mean, I just know they're full of shit. There's other people that are cashing in on the hurt and the desire to learn of people that are impressionable. And I think that's wrong, man. And I was around too many crazy mofos and too many, you know, psycho killer gangster dudes for a decade to where I'm gonna like feel intimidated by somebody on the internet. Nah. So I'm just seeing it and I'm just calling it out. You know, like enough of this nonsense. It needs to be called out and challenged for what it is.
Absolutely, I don't disagree. Yeah. That's the point there about receipts, man. Sorry, Sadiq, please go ahead, man. You've been chilling, man.
No, for me, it's a bit different because I'm new to the whole manosphere world, and I've been observing for a little while, and I found it interesting at first, because just seeing a few tweets that align with your core principles, or especially in today's world where masculinity has been pushed aside, it was like, wow, I like this shit. You know what I mean? And then obviously as I'm delving, I'm seeing more and more. I'm seeing more and more personalities emerge, and they're becoming more visible to me. I'm starting to look at them and think, just like you, Bobby, these are not people that I feel they could lead me. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been around real men most of my life. Obviously most of them are criminals, but we've never needed instructions on how to get women, or do you know what I mean? So for me, it was like, I don't trust all of this, and it started to become more and more apparent. But what I did realize is that the whole red pill philosophy is almost like religion. You get extremes. You get some that are very, very extreme and left or right, and then you get some that's more balanced. So for me, that's why I don't take it seriously. For me, it's just like, it is what it is. Some are gonna pervert it, and some I think I've got good intentions, and they really just want to right an imbalance in the world. And that's just my take on everything.
Yeah. I see Adil comment, and a lot of people without children who tell others how to raise children. Yeah, there's a flip side of that too. There's people that have families that tell other people not to have families.
Crazy.
I mean, yeah, it's like this weird dynamic that's out there. And look, anything that's gonna try and steer you away from a more traditionalist type existence, because we're OG here. This is OG logic. Okay, so we're about that traditionalism. We're about that old school. So like, if you got people that are trying to steer you away from something that's like not how it's been, that it's something new, I mean, that right there should be a red flag to begin with. When you've got people telling you, oh, you don't need to wife a girl up, you don't need to have a family, you don't want to have kids, but then on the flip side, then they're like, oh, you know what the problem with today is there's too many fatherless kids. There's too many. It's like, whoa, wait a second. Like, they don't even see what they're doing, because they're so much into spouting something like, okay, look, man, here's what's up real quick. There's this section of Twitter or social media that they call it like money Twitter. It's where they talk about advertising and making money and stuff like that, right? And they straight up will tell you, like, oh, okay, making us versus them mentality, saying controversial stuff will build engagement, this and that. So it's like these people are playing these pain points. That's another thing, hit them in the pain point. They're playing these things to where like it speaks to someone, or they've got some type of personal hurt or trauma or whatever with it. And it's for making money. It's for making money. So you got all these people saying this different stuff, right? Because A, they know they're going to get engagement, and B, they're counting on that engagement to turn into sales. And people are just eating it up. They're just eating it up. Instead of recognizing it for what it is, they're just going with it, hook, line, and sinker.
You made a good solid point. And I think when you were talking about old school and OG and being OG, this is where we're going to run into a lot of conflict with a lot of the younger generations and a lot of these guys in the sphere, which is basically, it's like they're out here saying, because of the laws and because of the system, and they're partially right, I have to give them credit, that it's very dangerous to get married. And that is true. It can be legally problematic. It's more than it can be. It is legally like very precarious to get married nowadays.
Okay.
We come to a position where it's like, the problem is the work. Guys don't want to do the work.
Yes.
You have to look, this is a men's channel, so we're going to talk like men here. When it comes down to a car, you just got a guap of money, or you saved up a guap of money. So you're walking around here with 75,000, 80,000 in your pocket. You're like, nobody walks around with that in their pocket, but you get my point. You got it.
Yeah.
It's liquid and you're ready to spend it. You want to get a car. Now you go down to the car sales lot. Do you just go down there, hey, I'll take that one? No. You want to get the best deal possible. And I'm giving you guys, listen to me. This is in my vetting course. I'm working on it right now. I'm giving you a free line here from my vetting course. This is almost verbatim from my course. You're getting this for free. So if you don't buy it, don't come to me and ask me for like a one-to-one. I'm going to charge you. I'm giving you a freebie. You don't, as a man, go to the car lot and just be like, yeah, give me that one. You don't do that. And then the guy sees that, like, you know what? Hey, this guy's got cash. Yeah, that car right there is $75,000. You're looking at a car that's maybe worth $1,500, right? You don't do that. Like, hey, you know what? Let me go online. Let me do my research. Let me take a look at this. Let me take a look at that. Am I going to get power? What sort of power am I going to get? What sort of like performance am I going to get? Am I going to get this? Am I going to get that? What options can I get? Can I get leather? The money I have, can I get, get an extra set of winter tires? You are going to do the work to try and find out what car is going to give you the maximum benefit, from horsepower to options to after sales care for your dollars. But when it comes to a woman, you're just going to grab the first one that like will say hi to you with a smile on her face. She got some big eyes, man. She was shaking them stuff. Her booty was popping right. And then you're just going to go wife her up and have a bunch of kids, huh?
Yeah.
You ain't going to take the time, go through her social media. You ain't going to come through a system, try and figure out how she's going to react like this. If I give this woman like $100 and I tell her to do this and that, whatever else, how's she going to react when I come back for this money? Is she going to go ghost on me? Guys say, oh, man, you're simping, you give her $100, whatever else. We're talking about a serious situation here where you're serious about a woman, not just every random broad you come across. Just you get some of these knuckleheads, these theoretical knuckleheads come on, well, American said just give women $100 and you'll find out if she wants to be with you or not. I'll kick you in your winky. No, I didn't say that. The point is, you set up and you create situations to where you can figure out, you can vet if this woman is the best possible option for you. And you, as a man, should have if you are a man who's been doing your homework and you've been doing your work, and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing as a man, you should have a half decent lineup of women that you can go down the list and you can viciously get rid of. That car right there is crazy overpriced. He wants $65,000 for a car with 30 horsepower. He can bite my. Why are you not like this with women? Men will do everything. I got 4 job offers. I've done my work. I went to university or I became a specialist in my field, even if you didn't go to university. This job's offering me this. This one's telling me I can have weekends off. This one's telling me I can only have 1 day off. You automatically know that job is out. But when it comes to a woman, man, I saw that butt, that was it. And you don't know jack dooley squat about this. You didn't even do the homework of going on her social media and find out if she's an Insta thought, if she's got an OnlyFans, whatever else. If she got a crazy baby daddy, you don't know nothing. But you done hoo-ha, and then you run her through life like this. And that's exactly what you're learning a lot of times in the manosphere. Hey, learn game. Okay, there are a lot of theoretics that can help you. Yes, absolutely, I agree. But then you got a lot of guys that are just nothing but game theory. And then that's what they teach you. You just learn how to get women at the lowest, easiest, fastest denominator. This is what her raw attraction markers are. And what you get is the raw woman, her sexual side. Well, who is she? I mean, I'm a guy. I'm a sexual guy. I love women. But I'm also Abuamerican. And women online, they hate Abuamerican. But I have guys that are absolutely happy with me. Something should in the mind. There's something wrong with this. If 2 absolutely different women love this guy, absolutely, there's something wrong with my perception of who he is. You should go online and make the same conclusions with women. How is she online? How is she in reality? If you're not doing that type of work, there's something wrong with you. If she won't let you do the work, there's something wrong with her.
Yeah.
Sorry. My rants, bro. I can go on for a half hour.
You know what? You were talking about problematic, right?
Yeah.
About how and I hate that word because that word has been totally hijacked by like the left, but I understood what you were saying. Okay. About how there are some risks or there are this and that or whatever. But here's the thing. Whether it's love, okay, first of all, there's no love without trust, right? And anytime you're going to trust anyone, whether it's a romantic relationship, a business relationship, a friendship, whatever the hell, right? Yeah. There's an amount of risk, period. Life is risk. There is nothing in life without risk. So you're going to say that, like, and I don't mean you, I just mean in general, like, you know, I'll take this risk and I'll take that risk, but this type of risk is unacceptable. You know, there is nothing, in my opinion, that's more rewarding than having a family, than seeing your offspring running around, than having a good woman or whatever. And you're going to say that one of the most rewarding things that you can go through isn't worth the risk. It's not, unless you risk that you get a reward. Okay. So yes, there is a risk. And you said it before I could even get to it about the vetting. You know, you got to vet. You gotta go through and see what is acceptable, what fits within your code, your frame, and what's totally unacceptable. So Soleil, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, forgive me either way, said, I get the example, but women want a man that's 2 SMV, which I'm assuming is sexual market value marks, higher than she is currently. So are you saying ignore that and get the highest you can get anyways? Absolutely.
Why would you settle for less?
Huh?
I'm sorry, I cut you off, but I'm asking him, why would you settle for less? If you can get the best possible deal you can, the best bang for your buck, as they say, why would you take less? Well, I can get better, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, you're vetting. You're in the process of vetting a woman, right? And because she wants something that's then that's what. No, man. If that's the way that she is, that she's not feeling what you're about, then move on. But here's the thing, too. Be realistic about what you are and what you are currently worth as well. Meaning that don't have an unrealistic viewpoint or idea of yourself. If you ain't worth a shit, you know, if you're living on a mattress in a basement somewhere, okay, then you are not going to probably be pulling the highest quality woman out there because you're low quality yourself.
Don't you know? You know, some people they deserve the attention of every and any man that comes across their way. Don't be like that, like a man. Don't be the male version of it.
Right. Nothing is for sure, though. Nothing is for sure. There's risk with everything. And there's these dudes, they've never even been married. And they're talking about, like, you know, hey, don't get married. Hey, don't do this. Hey, you need to know that. Hey, whatever. It's like, how are you even going to speak on anything? You're 21 years old living in your parents' attic. Like, what do you know? You know?
Do you think that them telling the men not to get married works in their benefit, like financially? Because if they need to keep you lot coming back, to keep everyone coming back, you know, if everyone was getting married, then there's no audience for them.
I honestly believe that they believe they're actually helping men. And I can understand. I tell guys, don't get legally married. I'm not gonna lie. I tell guys, go get religiously married, and I stand by that. You should religiously get married. This has always been a union. When you look at marriage, it's always been a reunion between a man, a woman, under the eyes of God, as they say. It's always been like that. When the government gets involved with anything, it gets messed up. I have watched consistently, from construction to housing to this to that when the government touches something, they mess it up. They just suck at it. They should stay out of stuff. If they're gonna make marriage a legal thing, they should leave it to the civilian sector. They will handle it with efficiency, with business acumen, with wisdom, and just in a way that it'll be a business, and they'll handle it accordingly. Then we'll have someone will pop up, the Elon Musk of private marriage will pop up, and then we'll have super efficient, you know, Tesla marriage. If you're gonna do marriage, that needs to be the way it's done. The government needs to keep their hands off of stuff because they screw it up every time they touch something. So that's what I believe. I wanted to say something else, and I'm sorry, Sadiq. I know I'm taking over here, but I take notes every show, and I wanted to say we were talking about being OG and the way we see things with traditionalism. And one of the biggest problems we have today, and part of the problem with the manosphere, is extreme individualism. There is no sense of community. There is no sense of tribe, and we keep constantly coming back to this topic on OG Logic, that there's no sense of tribe, and there's only this sense of extreme individualism. And this is part of the problem also, you know, and we have this, and now, okay, we can expand this past the manosphere. Now, we do have this in women. This is honestly true. And you have women out there that are extremely selfish, solipsistic, one of the favorite words in the manosphere. now we have guys out here that are trying to match women in their behavior. Well, I'm going to be extremely individualistic also. And so I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And so they start matching this behavior as like a warfare of increasing like who can outdo each other. And obviously, men win this game. I'm not going to be rude and I'm not going to, insult women, but men, we've just demonstrably proven by history that we're just good at stuff. We're good at outthinking and out battling and out chessing everyone else. So women, they are in a sense, not from a feminist sense, but from just a literal sense, historical losers and just, always been defeated by men. We're bigger, smarter, and that's just the way it is. But the fact is, this extreme individualism is part of the problem in the manosphere. And this is why we find guys in here LARPing and faking and funking and telling guys stuff that's going to get them paid. Because really, at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's about the money. I just started this, what do you call this? Monetization. I find it difficult. I'm sitting here with my homie, he's sitting here over his cut laughing, but he's helping me with monetization. I find it difficult because I came in this to help guys, and monetization for me is a way to filter out the unserious. These guys, this is how they finance their lives. Yeah. I did this, and none of this came from Abuamerican. None of what you see here, it's not great. It's not spectacular. I'm not driving, I'm not talking about my man, but I'm not driving Lambos, Ferraris, whatever else. But this is mine. This isn't Abuamerican, and I came out and I just started fleecing cats and mopping the floor with their pockets. So this extreme individualism is a huge problem. There's no sense of tribe and unity. Men have traditionally stuck together with their people. So where's your tribe? Well, his tribe is your wallet. That's his tribe. He don't care about you. He's not your man. That's why I got the men's community. It's not about the money that it costs to get in. It's about filtering out those who are not going to be serious and bring value and quality. That's the same way you got your group. That's why we're in there. And good quality information. We don't want trash. So sorry guys, I'm on a rant again. Let me woosah this one out.
Hey,
please Sadiq, you off, bro.
Yeah, go for it, Sadiq.
No, I didn't say nothing. I'm listening. I'm listening.
No, can we address Jim real quick? James Staggs says, why do men lack the ability to vet? Is it due to lack of experience or lack of knowledge or both? I think it's experience, knowledge, and desire. I think that most of all, the first and foremost is they don't vet because they don't desire to. They don't feel the need to. They get blinded by either get blinded by the snatch or by the bird, whatever we want to call her, okay, and it's just like they get the gaga eyes, or it's like they get this thing to where they're like, oh well, I know what it is, and if something were wrong, I'd feel it, so I'm G with this, and so they like almost trick themselves. And a lot of the times these dudes will be getting warning signs, right? Like Brad will get a call, oh, who's that? Oh, that was my ex-boyfriend, he called it, like, or hey, who's this dude? Oh, well, he's an ex and he's an ex and he's an ex. And, like, I'm just friends with them. Like they were such good guys, and like all these little warning signs start popping up to where the guy, they're like, oh, well, I don't think like she should still be friends. Well, but she really likes me, and I really like her too, and so they'll like look over stuff, like stuff to where if they were if it were their homie, okay, they'd be like, nah, dog, no,
they don't want to hear
it. She ain't have the chance, but it's like, no, but I love her, bro. I love her. She's got my heart, dog. And so like they look over it. Yeah.
I think we've all been there at some point in our lives, when we're young men. Do you know what I mean? I can actually remember my first girlfriend. That's exactly what it was. She's a couple years older. I'm 14 years old. She's 16. She had everything, full bum. I was excited, and I paraded her around. This is my girlfriend. And I remember I actually gave her number to a friend of mine. Oh no! I said, like, a challenge, like, yeah, you can't fuck my girl. And he over the weekend he fucked her. And he was like, but the way he did it, he told me like it was calm because I was supposed to be Like, I don't care. But inside, I was like, wow, is this what life is? Do you know what I mean? And you learn your lesson, because I didn't do no vetting. I didn't know the girl from nowhere. I saw her in West End. I got her number. I slept with her, I think, like the second time I ever saw her. But no one ever taught me no game. No one ever taught me. So I learned as I went on. But as you get older, it's just, you just learn that desire will betray you. You know, you can't always go with your feelings towards a girl, because funny enough, the most toxic women are the ones that I tend to actually have the most passion for. But I recognize that trait, and it's like, no. This is for fun. This is not for a future. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I can't separate that and decide that this is a woman that I want to settle down with. Where some people that I know, they will just settle down. They don't care. They don't care about the past. I know it's happened to a few Muslim brothers I know as well, unfortunately, because a lot of Muslim brothers they're naive, you know, they're naive. Even the ones that come from what we call Jahiliyyah, like they've had a past in the streets and, you know, before Islam. A lot of them come into Islam with this this image that all Muslim women are holier than thou, and they go through the channels of speaking to her dad, and then they're in a cafe 2 or 3 times, the little meetings, and then they decide, okay, she's a nice girl, we're gonna get married. And for me, I was telling my friends, don't do that. Like, that's not why. We're not living in Mecca 1400 years ago, where it was a small knit community. You don't know these people, you don't know these girls, you don't know the history. You need to spend more time trying to find out. So a friend of mine, he ended up marrying a girl within 3 weeks of meeting her, and she was the devil. You know, she cheated on him over 10 times. She even tried to sleep with me. She offered to sleep with me. A married Muslim woman. She offered to sleep with me. Prior to her getting married, she was having threesomes. It was, you know what I mean? It was like, and it ruined him. You know, it ruined him.
But I talk about this also. I mean, I think I'm special in one particular zone, is that I tend to aim this type of information at the Muslim demographic. There's not many guys, if any, out there telling guys in the Muslim demographic about this type of behavior. And I tell guys this all the time. It's like, you know, if I told you the stories that I know, it would break your heart. It would break you. Yeah. But James, one of the biggest issues also is, yes, men lack the ability. They lack the experience or knowledge. And when they do have all of that, the reality is male thirst is one hell of a drug. You know, you have guys, they'll have this laundry list of what a woman has to be his wife, and he'll be walking down the street, oh my God, titties. And then everything goes out the window. All he now is thinking flesh. And so, you know, and which brings us into the next point that this Sammy brings up. You can hardly have any applications if you be poor choosing a candidate. This comes back to something about, like, and I'm not talking about spinning plates, you know, but since it's the term that they like to use in the manosphere, in the sense of, you do, until you're married, you do need to have a first draft pick of women available to you. You know what I'm saying? So that you don't have this whole entire thirsty scarcity mentality towards women. Dude, you know, a lot of this stuff is hyper overcomplicated within the manosphere. The reason why that is so people can get paid, you know, and it's not really that crazy most of the time. But the problem is control first and doing the work. And these two things, they have to go hand in hand. And if you can't control one, or you can't do the other, if you can't do the work and you can't control your thirst, you can be a victim to everyone and anything that comes across you. It's going to be women, it's going to be the men, it's going to be the LARPers, it's going to be this one, it's going to be that one. You're always going to be a victim. And a lot of guys in the manosphere have come to recognize that. And so what do? They capitalize on it. I have a video from December of 2 years ago, and I talked about this very subject and topic back then, that the manosphere was going to fracture into groups and tribes. 2 years ago, I predicted this. They're just going to break down the tribes. What do we see now? Everybody's making their own individual groups. Everyone's breaking off, and they're going to be viciously suspicious of one another. And it's going to turn into a great big speculative market in terms of everyone's just looking to capitalize. I saw it back. I called them the red pill speculators. It's on that video 2 years ago. And what's happening right now? Everybody, us included, are getting pissed and tired of it. You know,
right?
And it's going to get worse.
Right. Well, but see, the thing is that people are getting pissed and tired of it for different reasons. So there's some like us that are tired of it because we don't like to see the disinformation go out there. But there's others that are pissed and tired of it because they're like, hey man, this guy's moving in on my market. Hey, this guy's going to take my customers, you know, or whatnot, you know. And that's, here's the thing too. I agree with the fact that a man should definitely, like how you said there should, I don't know if I would say necessarily a first string, but I totally know what you meant about how a man should have options, essentially, right? But I don't know that I would agree with he should have them going all at once, because just like if you expect your girl or your potential to adhere to a certain type of code, you should adhere to a certain type of code yourself, you know, and especially if you're religious in any way, you don't want to go too crazy with it. Now, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that you can go overboard with it to the point to where you stop valuing what a potential wife is, because now you're just seeing like just check marks, bed notches, you know what I mean, or bedpost notches, you know, in the grand scheme of things. I had this friend, right? This was years ago. His name was Jason, and we were over at his girl's house this one night. I don't know why I was even there, but I know I was there, and we were watching this movie, right? And Jason ended up passing out on the couch, right? And he was passed out next to his girlfriend. I was in this chair over here, and I was like, "Hey, Jason," and like he wasn't waking up, right? And I was like, "Oh, damn, he fell asleep. All right, you know." And his girl says, "Oh, I'm going to use the restroom real quick." And she gets up and leaves the room. And all of a sudden, this fool sits up like straight, right? And I'm just like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" You know? And he says, "Hey, dog, when she comes back in, try and hook up with her." And I was like, "Huh?" And he's like, "You can help me vet real quick, bro." He goes, "When she comes back in, try and hook up with her." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to do that, dude." And he's like, "Come on, man, come on." And I was like, all right. So he lays back down, acts like he's asleep, right? And so she comes back in, and I give it a couple minutes, and so I start getting. I remember this girl's name was Aurora, and I was like, "Hey, so Aurora, it's like he's asleep. You know, you want to go upstairs?" You know, I'm telling her, you want to go upstairs and see what's happening? And she was like, "Okay, but we got to be real quiet." And I was just like, "Oh, you dumb fucking bitch." You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, "You stupid hoe." But Jason must have had the sense, you know what I mean? Or he wouldn't have even had me do that to begin with, you know? But like, I remember, like, I was thinking to myself, like, dumb idiot, you know what I mean? Like, you just got right. And as soon as she said it, homeboy sat up. He was just like, "We got to talk." And I was like, "And I got to go, motherfucker. I'm out." You know what I mean? I was like, I'm out of here, right? And he was like, "No, hold up, dog. I'm going to need a ride." And I was like, "Oh, shit." So, I mean, that was the end of that, right? But the reason why I bring that up is dude had a feeling, okay? Like there was something that was going on in his mind to where he even asked me to participate in that, you know, and he was my boy. So I was like, all right, I'll do it, you know? But you can't ignore these feelings that you get when you're vetting people, and that's men or women. You know, trust those sixth sense. I tell people all the time, man, it was that sixth sense, that gut. That's what kept me alive when I was in the joint. Like anytime something felt like out of place, you know, I was like, "Oh, what's happening?" You know, and I had to listen to that. And that works with relationships too. So just like Craig was saying earlier, man, dudes will have a laundry list, right? Like, okay, I don't want someone like this. I don't want somebody like that. But then you compromise. Okay. Then you start going, well, you know, okay, she did do this, but she's really pretty. You know, she did do this, but you know, she is young and this and that, you know. And so like these compromises start coming into play. And the deal is you got to live with yourself forever. You know, whether you want to live with another person or whatever, you could decide that. But as far as who you are, as far as what your experience is and your pain and your happiness and whatever, that's yours for eternity. You know, so don't compromise on yourself.
This comes back to also what we're talking about honor. And I mean, look, here's the thing, and this is what I don't like about the Manosphere also. Now, about this, you know, these are my problems with Red Pill and Manosphere. Now, these guys talk about, like, you know, the bull and the cook when they're all cuckolds. And we're gonna get into this, like, dudes out here, like, you know, let me preempt all of this, what I'm about to say, because this comes into your story. It segues into your story, Bob, that you just gave us. Let me say this to you, gentlemen, and I lost a lot of followers over the last time I said this, and I'll lose them all again. If you are knowingly sharing a woman, you are a cuckold. You are not a bull.
That's he is straight not up.
Maybe he doesn't know she's cheating. If he knew, maybe he would leave her. You don't know.
Right.
Maybe he knows. Yeah. But that just makes both of you cuckolds, because now you know she's here and you're sharing a woman that makes you a cuckold. I don't care how you approach it.
I'll back you on that.
It's not argument. You cannot argue this. You are a cuckold. A lion will kill another lion for trying to bang his girls. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you sneaking around at night, you know, I snuck up and she jumped in the car and we drove off really fast. No, you're not even a lion. You're not a bull, because the bull at least will fight another bull. You are sneaking around like a mouse or a cockroach under the table trying to get scraps. Yeah. Let me just predicate that right here. Now, part of your vetting is having, aka, tribe. Now, see, Bobby had a tribe. He had a guy Bobby was the guy that could be trusted. The Manosphere teaches you, oh, well, if I don't bang her, somebody else will. So in the Manosphere / Red Pill world, the mentality is Bobby should have went ahead and, like, you know, called her up on the cut after everything went bad and tried to hook up with her again.
Yeah.
There can be no loyalty amongst men if you think like that. And that's why it's just turned into a fleecing cash market, because there is no dignity or honor, no sense of tribe, no sense of anything between men. And so, you know, and it starts off with hoo-ha. I mean, the reality is there's not a homie. Whether he's close or far, that if his girl came to me and was like trying to put it down on the table, I wouldn't think, well, if I don't do it, some other guy will, so I might as well do it.
Right.
I don't have that scarcity mindset. I'd be like, you know what? You suck, and I'm about to slap you in the head, and I'll take my legal chances with the police. But when you go home with a black eye and your boy, I didn't Abuamerican give you a black eye.
It comes back to
because Abuamerican ain't no guy that just go around uppercutting women, you know, for sport.
Yeah, it comes back to what is the goal of the whole Manosphere? Is it to sleep with as many women as possible, or is it to teach men how to be men? Because
it has higher aims. Ostensibly, it has higher aims, but it's been boiled down to basically like how can we just screw? But the idea was supposed to help men understand women so that they can protect themselves. Everyone they say it all the time. You know, the Red Pill was never about hating women. It's about trying. What is it? Trying not to hate. What was it? Red Pill is not about hating women. It's about not trying to love them for something they never could be, or something like this. Ostensibly,
it's bullshit, though.
It's supposed to be about women, and you can do that. But when you come through all of these larpers and grifters and everybody looking to just like do nothing else but, like, you know, just like suck you dry, you know, what are you left with? They are left with the guys who are trying to do what? What are they trying to do? They're just trying to get paid. There's a lot of guys
they're trying to get laid, man.
Yeah,
they're trying to get laid, and that's one of the big frustrating things about it too, is that even though they're saying like, oh, it's not about hating women, bullshit. Yeah. So like, here's the thing, man, is like if you're making it to where because that old saying, like, it takes two to tango, you know, That's a real thing, right? Now, you could say there's exceptions to every rule, you know, to where you were just the absolute fucking A1 perfect man and that broad just went out and cheated on you. But you could even argue then, like, man, maybe your vetting could have been a little bit better. Maybe something could have been different to where you wouldn't have even found yourself in that position. But you could just say, like, you were the A1 vetter, you were the A1 man, and she just cheated anyway. Okay, that's an exception. Okay, but the rule is it takes two to tango. Their relationships are multi-dynamics, multifunctional in ways to where, you know, there's a reaction, you know, and it goes back and forth, and there's this push and pull and all this stuff, right? So knowing this, if your whole ideology is men good, women bad, oh, you know, it's not you, it's just that these bitches are crazy, right? Then it is like making, how is a dude supposed to want to work on himself, or supposed to, it's just feeding into this person's ego, or feeding into the easiness that they want to hear, because it's like, well, yeah, see, you know, that wasn't really me, it's just that these women are crazy, and I just need to watch out for these women, and you know, because they at that point, it's like any type of responsibility is being taken from them. Hey, just like I was telling you about Jason, let me tell you about my cousin David, right? So I got this cousin that's 12 days older than I am, okay? And this dude, I wish he would have been like Jason, because this dude, his girlfriend that he'd had for a long time, right? I used to call her Horseface. I didn't even think she was good looking or nothing, right? But like, that's just me, okay? One night we were all out, and I don't know how it happened, but she started giving people rides home, you know, and I was the last person that she took home, okay? And then she threw some stuff. She threw some stuff at me like, oh, you know what? I've always liked you. Your cousin is this and that, blah, 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 blah. And I straight up, honorable, was just like, hey, whoa, wait, you're my cousin's girl. It ain't ever gonna happen. So whatever you got going on, you know what? I gotta go. See you later. Get out of the car, right? It was like 3:30 in the morning, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm calling that motherfucker first thing when I wake up and letting him know all this stuff. You want to know what she did? Want to know what she did? She called him first, and then tried to play the thing about like, oh, Bobby hit on me and this and that or whatever, because she knew I was going to tell him, right? And so was my cousin part of the tribe? Was he honorable? Was he whatever? That fucker believed everything that she said, because that horse-faced nasty broad had him wrapped around the finger. That dude didn't know how to vet, or he never would have been with her to begin with. She could bite an apple in half with just want to hang it, right? And I mean, come on, man. But and this is who he's messing around with, okay? Yeah. And you know, so you got dudes out there that are like that, to where they're so enthralled, right, that they can't see past, they can't see the what's to say, they can't see the forest for the trees, you know, like they can't see the big picture, man. And it's messed up.
Is it? You know, this comes back to another conversation that we were having. I had on, and I'm not gonna mention names here, but I will mention, you know, that I was on Dude Party. I'm on Dude Party usually once a week. I miss yesterday's, but you know, I'm usually on Saturdays. I'm usually on Dude Party. It was a pretty big panel, and guys were saying, this is a whole different conversation, but this is part of the Manosphere Red Pill, you know, group, and the conversation was held in that context. And one of the panel members, who's actually, you know, a significant following, a big following, he said, you know, nobody is owed a ready-made woman, you know.
Yeah, and I said I've said that too. Nobody's owed a fee. You aren't owed a wife. You aren't owed a good woman. Yeah.
I took exception to what he said, and I'll tell you why. And this is why I disagree. Because this same person, I've watched him talk about the protests taking place in the United States right now, and what type of people they are, and how they're this and how they're that, and the problems with this person, with that person. And so I didn't get a chance to challenge him on his position before he left the show. But it's like, how can you expect to have ready-made citizens and then dismiss that entire concept when it comes down to a wife? It has to be one or the other. Either we have ready-made citizens, or we have and then we have ready-made wives because they are part of the citizenship, they're part of society, or we don't. And then, there's going to be more credibility to what he's saying. But this comes back to what I was always talking about with tribe. When you have a tribe, then you have people raised upon specific morals, ethics, virtues, and values that you yourself share. And will there be outliers? Will there be hojabis? Everybody acts like they've got a slam dunk on Muslims and Islam when a hojabi pops up. But it's like, if we knew she was a hojabi, we would slam dunk on it, because we are an honor-based culture and society of people. We're an honor-based religion of people, So it's like, if we knew she was a hojabi, we'd slam dunk on her. So it's not a big deal. We understand that there are always outliers and there's always people who are going to do that. No matter what you do, they're just corrupted individuals. And so this comes back to this extreme individualism. My dick is what counts the most. I just have to get it wet at all costs. Yeah, no, I tell guys get multiple wives, but get married, man. Go do what you are supposed to do as, in this particular case, in my specific case, in my audience, as a Muslim, you are to get married. Do you need more? Fine. But go and do it by getting married, being responsible. And if she falls outside of what is considered to be acceptable norms for Muslim behaviors and ethics, morals, virtues, and values, kick her to the curb and be ruthless about it. This is why I say don't get people married. The same is available to guys in the non-Muslim world, but guys are afraid to be honest. It comes back to the manosphere and this whole fake it till you make it mentality. No, become the real deal. Don't go out here trying to fool women and lie to them and trick them and this, whatever else. If you want multiple women, come from the start. You'd be surprised at how many non-Muslim women are okay with it. You'd be surprised at how many phone numbers I have, women in my phone that are perfectly fine with being a co-wife or sharing me as a man and not sharing another man, and they're non-Muslims.
Yeah, but 100%.
Because 100%. You know why? Yes, your guru, your red pill guru, is a fake. And so he can't teach you what's real. He can't teach you how to go do that because he's not doing it, because he's not posting his receipts. You can go on my YouTube channel and find me with both of my wives on my YouTube channel. You can come into the comment section and find both of my wives in here commenting real time in the comment section. We don't put personally, I don't put my women online, but even in the videos, you can just hear them talking. So where are the receipts? This is what we need. We need to start calling these guys out. And it's like, where's your receipts? Where's it at? Abuamerican, come on my show. My wife will laugh at you. My wife will clown you. I'll post some of the screenshots that she talks about some of you guys on Twitter and how she laughs at you. Yeah. Do we really want to go there? I got receipts. Where's your receipt? Anyway, my wife mocks a lot of these guys, man.
You know what? When I was talking earlier about like aren't owed a wife, let me just clarify that a little bit. Because I had made a post about this to where I said, you aren't owed a good woman was my original post. And the reason why I say that is there has to be individual accountability, right? Absolutely. So if you aren't a quality person, you don't necessarily deserve a quality person. If you aren't the type of person that has any type of value, and I'm not talking about sexual market value or anything. I'm just talking about like you're a good guy. I'm not even talking about like necessarily like you're some stud, movie star walking around. Like I'm not even talking about all that. I'm just talking about you're a quality person who has a code, who can provide, who can take care of himself. Let alone another person. If you're not following along those lines and you're just somebody who's reading some posts on a computer screen and is like, hey, you know what? I deserve a woman too, and I should have. Nah, man, you don't deserve a friggin' woman. Like, what have you done?
That's actually a Quranic principle. What you just said. What you said is a Quranic principle. There's
you dropped out.
I don't know the exact verse, but it's along the lines of a chaste woman for a chaste man. Mm-hmm. So you got a lot of these guys, who sleep around, who mess around, and then they want virgins. Do you know what I mean? That they're actually demanding virgins when there's nothing there's nothing righteous about these men. Do you know what I mean? So why do you deserve in a traditional patriarchal system, why would a dad give his daughter to you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Do you know what I mean? So what you just said is actually, it's in the Quran in a nutshell.
This is actually more precise. I can stand by my statement that it's still true, and it can also be true with your statement together. And that's because you can say you could argue that a ready-made woman comes to those who have actually did the work. You know, if you did the work,
sure,
you know, then maybe quite possibly we can argue that yes, you deserve that. Not deserve. Deserve is the wrong word, but that should be available. Yeah,
you can earn it.
Done the work. Because let's be real. Some guys are going to be good, but they're going to always be geeky dorks. You know, and you need to have a society that also takes care of those guys, because those guys, they produce also. You know, I'm not saying we wouldn't be here on Streamlabs. I guarantee you, I can go into Streamlabs and kick everybody's ass. I don't think there's a single person in there I couldn't like drag. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just, I'm just saying, it's like, not everybody's gonna be walking around like ultra fighter guy lifting. You might, have some guy in there that might have good cardio. But, I'm pretty sure I can throw him out a window. I'm just saying, you're only gonna have these geeky guys who aren't gonna be good with women, and they, he's doing his part, he's doing his work, and he shouldn't be ultra Chad game guy in order to get a woman.
Right, but and you know what though, even that dude, there's a quality woman for him, because check it out. Not, I shouldn't even say not many. Many women don't respond to game at all. They just like we vet a certain way. Women vet even better than men do. Like on the natch, they have to. It's like something that's built into their DNA. They got to be more situationally aware because they are the smaller, more easily susceptible to dangerous species. And they vet because traditionally they're the ones that are being taken care of, and they want to know that they're going to be taken care of and protected. Okay. So a lot of them don't respond to the game bullshit, and they see it for what it is right off the bat. As soon as a dude, hey, well, they're just like, oh God, here we go, and a quality woman will especially be able to vet you, because if you want a girl, okay, if you want a dummy that you can spit some lines at, she's going to be like, oh, he's so good. Oh, yeah. And like, they're going to go with you. Okay. You can find those a dime a dozen, whether they're good looking, whether bad. Now that woman, you may not want to wife that one up because she can't think for herself. She can't do anything for herself. She might be able to wipe her ass and tie a shoe, but anything beyond that, you might be running into problems, So you got to understand that it works both ways. It's not just, that we're the ones that have to watch out for everything. And I mean, they do it too. And, you were talking, Greg, about the receipts, post some receipts. And this is what gets me in to the anon, and especially like anon, like dating coaches, relationship advice. Okay, now look, I'm sure there are some out there that are trying to do God's work. All right. I'm sure there are some out there that really have like, oh, I want to help people, and I want, they have to exist, just by probability. Okay.
Yeah.
But that being said, these are the biggest full of shit sector, right? Because like these dudes are posting 0 receipts. They won't even post their face as a receipt. Okay. And then it's like, oh, well, my job might, well, so wait a second. You have valuable information that people are willing to pay money for, but you can't post yourself because you might lose your job over valuable information that people are willing to pay money for. Do you see the circle that this just goes in? It's like this full of shit circle. Okay. And they give this, I mean, man, I see some of it. You must dominate her and she must feel your power. And it's like, man, you sound like a fucking rapist, like the way you're talking, like you sound like you're about to go commit a sex crime right now. What are you, right? So I mean, it's just, there's these people, they aren't accountable to anything because they got no skin in the game. They aren't given, they could even make up a name, but they ain't even showing their face. They ain't doing none of that stuff. And they are putting out some of the most way out advice out there. And they're probably like sitting down, hey man, hey, check this out. Watch, I'm gonna put this. You must screw her face and she must feel your sexual power. Bro. And they're like, ass, you know, because like people, oh yes, you are absolutely right. That's what you must do. Yes, feel the power. And you know, people eat this stuff up, and these dudes got zero skin in the game. They could sell that account to someone else, and you would never know that you were taking information from a different person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like that's what you're gonna base like your future relationships on. Like, man, that's a big one for me, man. I mean, I'll say it again. I'm sure there are some that are trying to do the Lord's work. Okay, I'm sure. I just don't think there's a lot.
You make a good point. I don't have a true working relationship with anyone who's anonymous on Twitter. I don't have a single person that I've worked with that's anonymous. Everyone I've worked with or I am working with, they actually show their face. And this is a big point that you've actually made. It's like, and look, are we mentioning names here?
I mean, you can. Right. You can if you want.
Tell your son this. It's a classic example. You know, it's like guys love this guy. And he has demonstrably, he has been called out multiple times. People have shown with unequivocal proof and no doubt that he is a fake. And dudes, it just sounds good. And they're taking this guy's advice. He had an internet e-girlfriend who was like an e-gamer girl that he never met and had like a 4-day Twitter meltdown because she broke up with him. Can you imagine he didn't freaking, and guys, excuse my Muslim audience, but he didn't even grab her nipple and twist it. He never touched the woman. He didn't see the back of her kneecap, and he had a 4-day meltdown. And you're going to take relationship advice from this guy?
Yeah. Yeah, there's quite a few like that, man. I mean, just along those same lines, they say the most way out stuff. You know, I mean, we see the term like G being thrown around a lot. You know, G this, G that. You know, oh, he's a G. Oh, this guy's a G. You know, and it's like I grew up around real G's, and they treated women with respect, and they knew how to treat a lady, man. And they if they saw some of the stuff, I mean, thank God many of them are dead. Because if they saw some of the stuff that was posted on this stuff, they want to bust some heads. Like somebody tried spouting some of the. What are you talking about, man? Go back home. Leave. Street lights are on. You know.
We can't have those differences. Like basically, those congruence in men's personalities. It was basically is like these guys have like allowed the situations that they're in. You know, since when did you ever see a G like allow a woman to disrespect them? They treat a woman with respect, but if a woman came with any disrespect, they just be like, "Hey, this chick's crazy." Boom, that was it. You never see her with him again.
Right.
Got with their third. Well, if I can bang her, somebody else will. Oh, I gotta hold on, no matter what. And then she's down there, just next thing you know, she's spitting on you. You know, in the bedroom. You're wondering what's going on and what happened. Well, you know.
Yeah. Hey, there's a big difference between respectful.
It's over male thirst. Where your respect for yourself has more power than your thirst to go ahead and just like bang somebody, you know?
Yeah. Right.
It's oh god.
It's a big difference between respecting yourself and being like gaga blind, or being respectful towards a woman and being like gaga. Like for example, my grandpa and my uncles, man, those dudes, and you know what? They were married to, you know, they call it in Italian family, they call it like a guma, which is like it's like a mistress, right? So they had the gumas and they had the, you know, the wives at home, right? But they never, the two never crossed. right? They had the respect for the wife to where she never found out. And they also, with these women, right, they weren't ever like on that level. So it would be like if they were at a party and there was women around or whatever, they'd be respectful. Yeah, they'd pull out a chair, they'd do whatever. But at the same time, it was always like, well, if you don't like it, the door's right there. You can go. You know, like it wasn't like they were just this thirst, you know, to where it was just like, oh, well, okay, baby, just whatever you want, just don't go, baby, don't go. You know, like there wasn't none of that. It was like if they were a little bit out of pocket, it was like, do you need to go home? Do you need to go right now? And that's what it was, man. I mean,
that's why we are here today, because guys, they're not even willing to teach men that, because they understand that most guys don't want to hear that you have to walk away from the vast majority of the women today in order to find the one you want. You know what I mean? You have to be willing to like just basically say, hey, you know what? And I mean, Sadiq had a recent story about this. I don't know if you're willing to share that. I'll leave that to you. But yeah, you just walk away, you know? It was like, look, you are not up to par. And ain't none of us dealing with like dog meat out here. So it's like, yo, this stuff, you know, this hasn't got to do with Abuamerican, you know, you're dealing with a 4.5, you know, so it's easy to walk away. Dude, I'll walk away from anybody, because my personal like tranquility, peace, and personal sense of like dignity is worth more than what this woman has to offer me, you know?
And you have an abundance mindset as well. You have an abundance mindset to go with it. So
that is my entire reality shift. And that's why we got these drifters showing up in these larpers, you know, getting away with murder.
But for those of you that don't know, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody does. I'm in Romania right now. Eastern European women are considered to be fairly attractive, right? Some would say hands down, leaps and bounds more attractive than the women in the US. Okay. And I'll get these dudes when I'm trying to kick knowledge, right? And they'll be like, well, you're married and you don't know anything about the game, and right. And if these dudes see what comes to me and starts chatting to me without me even trying, they would be crying in their Wheaties, man. Because you know what? Ain't nothing new changed under the sun, right? Everybody, what's been around from the beginning, it's still going now. Okay, so like you'll have these dudes that'll be talking, you know, this nonsense, this garbage, right? And then go, well, you don't know what you're saying, you know? And it's like, man, let me tell you something. I turn it down. I turn down more than you're picking up, like on the natch. And you can, I mean, I ain't got no reason to lie about it. I'm happily, comfortably married. There's no point, no reason for me to tell a story. You know, it's just like, hey, you can take what the life experience is and what's real, or you can just, you know, keep buying that crap that other people are dropping for you.
Yeah. Hey, this is Tom. Tom's over here.
Hey guys.
Hey, Tom.
A little bit here. He's actually, I guess you got some crossover in the manosphere to a certain degree, right? Right?
Yeah, I've had a fair bit of experience with it.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons I'm here helping out Craig is because he's you guys are right. There's a ton of bullshit, man. There's a ton of larpers. And Craig just seemed like a really real guy to me, and like I could see that came through. It was very obvious. So that's why I ended up reaching out to him.
Yeah, he's helping me with my monetization. I'm not good at it, and like he's of the opinion. He's seen some of the work. He's seen my betting course, and he's, you know, it's like, this is good stuff, man. This will actually help a lot of guys out. That's what I was trying to.
There's people making money off of such nonsense, and there's Craig putting out really good stuff. And he's, I'm like, man, these guys should not be making more money than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to sort your shit out. You need to, like, it doesn't make sense, man. Like,
I need to work on it. I gotta work myself.
I think one of the issues here is what I see is that they're making money from telling them what they want to hear.
Absolutely.
Because this is actually a conversation we were having earlier. Except with talking about women, where it's like it's much easier to sell cake than it is to sell steak and broccoli.
Yeah, indeed.
Even, but you kind of see cake all the time. So if you want to make a fast buck, you sell people what they want to hear. and that's what a lot of these guys are doing. And men don't. Truth is, it is hard, but it's always been difficult to be a man. It's always been challenging. Like for thousands of years, it's never been easy. You never had anything handed to you as a man. But we have a mentality now, especially with younger men, where they're basically sort of have this victim mentality, and they don't want to do any work. They don't want to improve themselves. They don't want to make more money. They don't want to get in shape. They don't want to do it. So it's easy to make money out of these people by starting them this idea that it's all women's fault and they shouldn't do anything to improve themselves. It's actually quite hard to make money telling people that, oh, actually what you need to do is a bunch of work on yourself. That's actually quite hard to sell.
Yeah. Indeed, it really is. But that's the
Tom, when you're talking about helping Craig with the monetization, what's your experience with it? If you could maybe share a little bit.
I was an affiliate marketer for a couple of years, so I ran ads on Facebook and moved like a couple $100,000 worth of weight loss products. That was actually a side business. That wasn't even my main job, but I want to keep my day job separate from all this stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's understandable.
Cool.
Yeah.
And are you on social media or anything like that? Or?
Find me on Twitter. I'm Crypto Profit on Twitter. That's Crypto Profit with a 3 instead of an E.
Crypto Profit. Okay, I will look it up.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Believe it or not, I don't know. We met through Abuamerican. He actually, guys, he accepted Islam. I sent him to a masjid in London. You know, Muslim brother there. He accepted Islam. Muslim Abdullah. You know, so
Thanks to this guy.
Tribe now. You know.
Are you from London, brother?
Yeah, I'm from. I lived in London for 3 or 4 years. Still in Southeast England.
Okay.
Yeah, this has been a big topic. Actually, we've been down here just kicking and talking about all of this stuff. You know, it's just some mess out there, man, with the LARPing. So what do we do now? So now we got to show. How do we tell these guys that are watching what is the solution to the LARPamundos and the LARPing LARPers? How do we identify and deal with them?
We need like a red flag list, probably. We probably have to walk them through it. You know, like a list of things to look out for, like a manual to spot a LARPer in the manosphere.
If
I think
he's
that
not
might be.
and he's an anonymous, he's got a question mark over his head. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
If someone real ain't gonna vouch for you as a anonymous account, person who's vouching, he's basically saying, I'm willing to attach my reputation to this guy's. So it's not even really his work. You know what I'm saying? He's attaching himself. So it's like if I say so and so is good. Let's say so and so is an anonymous account. That's Abuamerican putting his name on the line for Mr. Anonymous so and so. If you don't have that, then I have to say that you are questionable. I'd say that's one of the first things. You know, who is this guy? What makes him an expert? If he can't put his face out, it's impossible he's going to have real receipts. Because real receipts, you can trace that. You can follow it back. Like I said, people see both of my wives on my Twitter commenting, talking. You know, talking about how much they love me. You can see them. Okay, not today, but normally you can see them in the live comments here talking about me and having conversations with me on the show. I can put it. You know, my receipts are there. But a guy who's anonymous, it's impossible that he can remain anonymous and put down real receipts. So anything that he does put down already has a question mark over it. It has to be fake.
Yeah.
So that's it.
And man, you talking about like IM or whatever? What's that dude's name? The immeasurable or limitable?
Limitable man. I like that.
Unbearable. I don't know what the hell.
That was actually my first introduction to the manosphere. Coming across these tweets.
Yeah, I actually agree with what you said. That was you can be anonymous and put down receipts. You can blur out your face, and have something that's obviously you. Like it would be possible to be anonymous.
I've seen it done one time, but I knew who the anonymous account was.
I know exactly who you're talking about. It can be done, but nobody's doing it.
Yeah. One person did it. He has a real account, and he made an anonymous account. And there was actually clues in every single photo that he dropped who he was in real life.
Are you talking about with the?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well,
nobody else did it.
But I think he revealed himself. I think he actually ended up. I think like on that account he revealed who he was. But yeah, I won't say his name in case he didn't, but I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah. So one person that has done it, but I haven't seen anybody else do it. All these anonymous accounts, you don't see them putting blurred up photos. I don't see that happening.
No, they don't.
So it's like they don't want to be identified at all.
Dude, this is actually not a new problem. Like, I don't know if you guys, maybe you guys not sort of missed this whole wave, but I used to be back on like, so before there was Twitter and everything, like there used to be pickup forums where you go on forums and you talk about, I think you're probably part of this, Craig.
I heard that, yeah.
And people used to write up like lay reports and things like that on there. And you got people on there that would just make up nonsense. It happened. I think there was a lot less. I think there was a lot less of it though than it seems to be now.
Yeah,
but it's not a new problem. Like one thing I think is hilarious, which I've seen, is you call these people out and if you call them out and say, and they get mad at you, you say, "Well, fight me, bro. Come here, I'll fight you. Like let's do a YouTube thing. It'll be great for both of our views." They'll never do it. They'll never take you up on it. These guys. I think there should be more of that, man. That'd be hilarious.
I've done that. I've done that so many times, and then you'll get these like little pacifist dudes. Will be like, "Oh, but you have a criminal record. And you're just slipping into your own ways." You know, and it's just like, hey, well, you know, I mean, talking about you solve it a certain way, let's solve it, you know, and it's like, oh, that's not how you should be acting, you know.
So like, I'm game, man. I don't care if I'm gonna lose. If someone calls me out and they call it saying I'm full of shit and fight me, I'll fucking fight and I'll fight them. Even if I'll lose, I'll do it anyway. Yeah. Like I don't care.
I remember somebody put up a post about like, would you fight Mike Tyson for $1 million? And I'm like, I'd fight Mike Tyson for free. You know, I mean, $1 million would just be a bonus. I mean, yeah, am I going to win? Am I going to win? Probably not. You know what I mean? But at least like, I mean, just to like say like, I got in the ring with Iron Mike. Like that's something you're just gonna, that's like forever. You're going to have that kind of, you know, just pride in yourself. I mean, at least I would, you know, I'd give it my all.
It's skin in the game, isn't it? If you're not willing to back up what you're saying, this is how you can get so out of hand and people end up talking so much shit because they don't have to back it up because there's nothing on the line. If you like, the way it should be, if you have a man, like a group of men, and one guy's saying some bullshit and someone else says, "No, dude, I think you're full of shit." Like the end result, it always boils down to if you're not willing to get violent to back up what you're saying, then your opinion is you're essentially full of hot air.
Yeah. Hey, James, you're too late. I actually suggested this. I was the first person to suggest it, that we need a Twitter fight club, and that I would actually beat the brakes off of a lot of guys in the manosphere that I don't like.
Dude, it'd be absolutely amazing publicity if you could actually pull together. You get so many views.
Now
you get loads of people interested.
He just made a point that I made in this book, and I'm bad at sales, and it's not even a sales pitch, but go buy my book. So anyway, in here I talk about this, that you own nothing, including your ideology, if you cannot physically defend it. If you cannot physically defend your ideas, then you know what? You don't have ideas. You don't have anything you can't defend. If I can come along and say, you know what? The guy has the idea that this car is mine. I'm like, that's actually an idea. Yes, the paper says all this, but you know what? We defunded the police. And so, you know, if you call them because we're in Chaz zone and I want to punch you in the head and take your car, guess what? It's my car. The idea that it was yours was there, but the reality is I can take it. We know, just like anyone else, that you can beat people into ideology. It's like, you're going to shut up. No, I'm not. Walk over there. Pow! Open your mouth again. And then I know, Sadiq, I know you, Bobby, we've all seen this. I don't know about you, but there were people, all of a sudden he got quiet as the church mouse pissing on cotton, you know? Yeah. And you're like, oh, okay. I thought you had something to say. No. So ideas are as strong as the hands you have, you know, to defend them.
In the joint, everything was backed by, it was all backed by violence. Like that was the ultimate. I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like that was the necessarily like the first thing gone to. Like dudes would still try and, you know, talk it out, keep the peace or whatever. But I mean, if it was like, you know, okay, so you're not going to agree, you're not going to agree. Okay, well, you two got to fight.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything like about it. It wasn't like, you know, oh well, bro, you know, fighting isn't the answer, dog. And we should really talk about this, and you know, we should think about other ways and be more civilized. No, there was none of that shit. It was like, okay, so you and you, no, okay, fight. And that was that.
You're absolutely right. On it. But even if you don't win, it doesn't. If you're actually willing to go, then and your game, then that's enough, I think. Yeah. But if you're going to start being like, oh no, I don't believe in violence, like, but then I'm going to block you. Fucking shut up, man. Bullshit.
Yeah, well, that's how it was too. I mean, people could take an L and still have respect, you know. Or still
100%.
Yeah, you know, like it wasn't like, you know, somebody got beat up and it's like, oh, you're a fucking punk bitch, you know, or whatever like that. No, it was like, hey, man, he stepped up. He had heart. He tried to handle his business, and you know what? Okay, check it out, man. I'm gonna make some people mad right now, but
I talked about a fight with a guy named Tim. We ended up being really close homies because we could respect each other after that.
Yeah,
he turned into a really tight homie.
Yeah, no, okay. So look, I don't really. I mean, this guy actually follows me too. So you know, like, but like, there only because we're talking about dating coaches and no skin in the game. There's this guy. I don't know if I'm gonna say his name right. Rivellino or
Rivellino.
Rivellino.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's another one to me. Like, he says the most way out rapo weirdo shit, right? And people just eat that dude's stuff up, and they're just like, oh well, I mean, he's drawing little green lines through people, and he's like, you know, talking about, you know, like, I mean, he says some shit to where, like, if he said that around some of the homies, they just want to beat his ass because they think he was a sexual predator. But like, he gets away with the shit, you know, and like, people eat that stuff up, but there's no receipts posted at all, none. I've never seen a receipt from that guy. You know, I've heard him talk. I mean, hey, we can all talk. You know,
every tattoo represents a gangbang.
Oh yeah, that was. I mean, man. There's been some though, like to where like I mean, and listen, I'm not saying the dude's a bad guy. I know he's out there doing his thing just like anybody else. But I'm making this point mainly because I'm talking about the skin in the game aspect, you know, to where this dude has a large following. People eat his advice up, right? And it's like that account, in realistically, that account could have traded hands 10 times within the last 3 months, and nobody would be any the wiser.
You wouldn't even have to tweet new. I don't think you could. You could just go to the bottom and start recycling.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing, though. I mean, this is one of the identifiers. So we got like stuff like this in these types of accounts. But how do we protect guys? I mean, these guys say they're protecting guys from women. How do we protect these guys from these guys?
Well, I'll tell you what. We got to start like talking about it, because here's the thing. I've gotten just over the past few days since I've just decided to put everybody on blast, and I've just been not giving a crap because I will get in the ring. I've just been calling everybody out, right? And it can't be just me though. That's the thing. Yeah. Like it's got to be to where, you know how many DMs I've gotten just over the past few days to where like it's been dudes and chicks, but I mean, I'll just talk about the dudes that have just been like, bro, man, I've been feeling like this for so long. I'm so glad you're finally saying something, man. Or, you know, like along those lines, right? To where it's like, all right, well, check it out. I fired the first shot. Now let's go. You know, if you want to talk about it, talk about it. But I think that so many dudes would rather be a follower, or would rather, you know, fit into the herd, so to speak, that for them to step out and say something that maybe goes against the norm or might single them out, like they shy away from that. They're just like, no, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut and just fit in, you know? So it's like, you got to be willing to speak up. You got to be willing to say something.
Fair enough. You got to call guys out on ABS. This is old school though. Calling cats out on the BS, you know, this is kind of old school. You got to refresh it, you know, renew it, revamp, bring it back up into the modern world.
It's like a lot of guys. Like I got into this sort of online, if you want to call it, red pill community quite early, and it used to be pretty. It was just dudes like swapping strategies on how to pick up girls. That was mostly it. And a lot of, there was some bullshit out there, but a lot of it was okay. But I've watched it slowly devolve into essentially a glorified money grab at this point. But a lot of the new guys, especially if you're a younger guy, you are very, very misled by everything you see in the media and the news, and even for a lot of men, what their parents tell them. It's way, way off base. And then you have some experience. Eventually, this happens to a lot of guys where they have an experience where it so obviously didn't go the way that it should have done that they come to question those beliefs, and then they're left completely guideless and leaderless, and they don't know where to turn. So they go online and they start looking for someone that can help them out, like they're like this theory or this strategy or whatever they have is clearly not correct. It doesn't work. So I'm going to go look for some other good information. They're honestly searching for good information, and they're just naive. They don't know these guys are full of shit because it sounds so plausible, and they're like, "Oh my god, shit! This makes so much more sense to me. This must be the right way." But they don't know. They don't know any because it is. I mean, a lot of it does make more sense than what they've already been told. So in some sense, they're making their way away, slightly away from the bullshit. But they just don't know. A lot of these guys, they just go online and this is what they find.
Yeah. Guys just have to think of it, man. I mean, everybody wants a girl, and everybody's like scared and terrified of women, and they're like these monsters, with like snakes in their pants. They're gonna suck your wallet out of your, winky by way of, the JJ. But then you got guys doing that to you, and you're not even paying attention. These guys are just fucking doing the same thing. They're sucking you dry just in a different way. So you're just gonna have to have guard up, man. You're getting gamed. Guys who are teaching you game. You're just gonna have to be savvy. This is really what it boils down to. But there are obvious signs, and you're just gonna have to learn them, or figure it out on your own. And the red flags are. We have more red flags up for guys in general than we do for women, and so you got to just be down on both fronts. You got to be down all around circles. Look out for cats that are not delivering, or delivering results. That's another thing.
Vet your sources.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, like vet your sources, and if you can't vet a source, don't use it as a source.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you can't, like see what a person's about, see where they come from, look at their history, look at who they are, look at what people have. I mean, and if you can't do that, with any type of conclusive proof, then don't use that person as a source. I mean, that's something that's real easy to me. I mean, who is going to follow? Do you imagine like putting your life on the line for like a faceless, nameless person? Like that you, but yet you're going to base like your future life's relationships and contentment off of a faceless, nameless person? Like, check your sources. And that doesn't mean necessarily that you vet someone and the guy that is giving you his name and face, like he's going to be 100% right or 100% trustworthy. But at least you got a better chance with that dude than you do with, Joker 52617. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you gotta be smart about just like you vet your women, vet the sources, man.
Sure. Of a guy who talks about his imaginary son spurred out 4 days over a girl. He doesn't even know what type of shampoo she uses in real life. Sorry, I just want to throw that dig in there. He really pissed me off. I want to punch that guy in the face. So anyway, yeah, we're here like hour 30 minutes. You guys got questions, make it fast, because otherwise we're gonna call it today. Guys, look out for the Larpers. Call them out, man. Call them out. Don't be. What's the worst they're gonna do? If you honestly believe he's a Larper, if you honestly believe he's talking crap, the worst he can do is block you. And if you think he's LARPing already, why would you care? Don't worry about it. If you think he's a fake, if you think he's a clown, if you think he's full of it, and he blocks you, well, then you're not getting useless information on your feed. You just cleaned it up. Less information is better than having a bunch of bad information. So call these guys out and let them know. How long to the betting course? We are trying to get that launched here this week. I got a lot of stuff going on here. These guys can attest to it. I got like crazy people in German government making my life difficult and whatnot. So
I'm going to make sure it gets it out this week.
All right. Well, there we go. All right. There we go. All right.
No pressure, Craig.
No pressure. No pressure. It's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I've been working on it, and it's going very well. I got to add a little bit. Whatever. It's coming out. So, yeah, guys, be on the lookout. Don't get game, and by anybody, by women, if you're afraid of them with their, snakes in their pockets, and the guys who are snakes trying to get in your pockets, whatever the case may be, just be smart, man. Okay, here we go. Do people apply this to the gay pro ethos ballerina?
What does that mean?
You have to translate this to English for me, bro.
I think we're getting trolled. We're talking all this anon stuff.
I know personally.
Okay.
I just don't know what he's saying, bro. Okay. Translate that into English, man. Bro.
Gay pro ethos or ethos. Gay pro ethos ballerina.
Bro, you have to translate that for me, man.
Yeah, man. That one, that's next level right there. Like I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet. Okay. The gay pro ethos ballerina. Okay, well, why didn't you just say so, man? I mean, you come on. Okay, so let me tell you.
I didn't get it. Go on.
Look at the. Oh, I don't know if you could see it. He brought up Alexander Cortez. That's who he's talking about. He's the gay pro ethos ballerina. Okay, now I get it.
Can I touch first?
Yeah, go for it.
Anonymous Assassin. I mean, back in the days, I kind of got into like a little back and forth with AJ. Not a serious one. I don't think he really acknowledged my go back and forth. And so I used to really jump on him about it. But he actually turned out to be not a bad guy, man. I actually think he's a good guy, man. I got a lot of respect for the guy. He treats me with respect. I treat him with respect. And he's a really stand-up type of dude. I seen his girl. His girl ain't, his girl not bad, man. I would put my girl out there. But he's not Muslim. He's got his thing. So I don't know if you can call him gay either, because his girl's pretty hot, But I actually changed my opinion on the guy. I think he's a nice guy, man. I think he's a good guy. And whenever I speak to him and I ask him something, the guy is like just more than happy to help me out, talk to me, whatever else. And as you can see, and he's not a guy. He's not one of the ones that I have a working relationship with. I'm not an affiliate of his, I don't pump his material out. He doesn't pump my material out or anything like that. I'm just speaking from a guy that I just talked to from Twitter every now and then. I find actually AJ Cortez, I think I disagreed with him on his early ethos stance, and we really went about it, but I think he's an all right guy. That's my humble opinion. I've changed my position on him, so that's my stance on there. Because Anonymous Assassin knows from the days when I used to jump on him and I used to tweet at him and I was mad at him. But I've changed my position. I think he's a pretty good guy. I think he's not a bad guy for the realm he's in.
I've spent a lot of time with Alexander Cortez, in real life. I refer to him as my little brother. He's someone more than anyone else in the space that has helped me and answered questions to anything related that I needed answering to. My thing is, we all have our own opinions, and I wouldn't expect any friend of mine to hold the same exact opinions on every single thing that I do, so that's not like a deal breaker for me to be friends with someone, as we don't believe 100% in the same things. But I think Alexander is probably, when it boils down to who he is and why he's here and why he does what he does, he is probably one of the most genuine people in the space.
He's pretty consistent. He doesn't go outside too much.
You may not agree with what he's saying, but as far as like his genuine personality and you know, I mean, the guy's a fitness guy. He sells fitness materials. He believes in what he writes. He believes in what he teaches. We've had many personal conversations, which I'll say loosely, just so I'm not I'm not you know, betraying any type of trust issues. But he's someone that genuinely is there to help people. I mean, from everything he's ever told me. So I think Alexander's a pretty genuine dude.
Yeah, and let me say this also. I mean, I get along with AJ Cortez, but AJ Cortez and like Rollo Tomasi, they go nuts at each other, and I get along with Rollo very well, and I get along with AJ very well. So, you know, when I say this, it's not like an attack on anybody else, because I like Bobby said, there's no rule that says just because these two guys don't like each other, I gotta dislike one or the other. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is you know, look, if somebody's coming after one of my buddies, I will choose a side. You know what I mean? Like if there's somebody that's coming hard for one of my friends or someone that's you know coming out of pocket, you know, I will tell someone they're out of pocket. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't need people to believe exactly what I believe. I mean, case in point, I'm a Catholic. You guys are Muslims. You know, I ain't tripping. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like if anything, it adds value and education to me. You guys knowing more about something than I do. You know, or about something I don't. So I mean, like, I ain't tripping on that. And I don't need for someone to be exactly as me in order for me to admire that person, I guess was the point I was trying to make.
I don't like doing that stuff because it's like, for when it comes down to like it's the argument that those two guys have, there's win for me, and there's no win for either of them for me taking sides. You know what I'm saying? You have a personal relationship with AJ. Me, I don't have like that close personal face type of thing, you know, but I do have a long relationship with Rollo, and so you know, I just there's no benefit for me to get involved in that stuff. You know, so I don't.
Sure.
I have no dog in that fight. Whoever wins, my lot doesn't change. You know, Abuamerican stays American. I don't come out higher. I don't come out lower. So I just stay out of stuff. Yeah, I mean, for me, if you, I mean, if someone came at you, Bobby, then it's on, man. It's on. You know.
No,
I
get what you're saying.
I mean, you the man. You the OG.
Yeah.
You guys are asking questions out here. You guys are asking about like specific names and whatnot. Oh yeah, sorry. Let me go back to this one. Should the Western man leave the West to find quality women?
That's a good question, I think.
Look, man, here's the thing. We see this, you know, TV is showing us how faulted this mentality is. You got that guy, what's his name, Big Joe or something, whatever else he made. He had a TV show where he went to, I think it was the Philippines, and he's a photographer, and he's like got that, you know, that really average looking, she's well built, but really average looking, she's either Vietnamese or Filipino girl. It's like, if you don't have yourself together, there are no quality in women in the world for you. It's just the simple fact that there's nowhere you're going to go if you aren't a guy with high value and a sense of self-dignity in what you're willing to or not tolerate, you know, where you can go and get a woman and she's going to be like, ooh, you know, she's going to swoon over you just because you show up with a blue passport. It doesn't work like that. He showed up with a blue passport and he's like, can I get a kiss? And she's like, yeah, right here. You know, it's like, dude, I'm not even being a dick or super arrogant. But if like, do you really think I go there and be like, hey, you think I can get a kiss? You think she'd really be like, you know, like right here? Do you really think so? Or would Abuamerican be in there like, wah, 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 wah? We know what would be happening. But the guy lacks what it's true. The guy lacks what it takes, no matter where he goes in the world. The grass isn't greener anywhere in the world. Yes, there is a degree of differences in behaviors from culture. But if you are, listen, a woman is a very stark mirror of who you are. And if you, and women from a foreign country with good culture, basically they're women that are, and you got a mirror with a filter on it. And eventually the battery's going to run out of that mirror. And in her real nastiness is going to come out because that's what she's going to reflect from you. If you are not a man who can command personal respect, that starts with yourself. That doesn't start with like, you know, she's got to respect, take this hoe or whatever else, you know, whatever the mentality is, you know, when somebody says, you know, face bear into respect her. I don't know. Yeah. You know, if you can't do that at home to where it's like, you can't get a woman to at least say, you know what, I'm not going to even mess with this guy, I'm just going to walk away. Then you can't go somewhere else in the world and find a woman who's going to treat you with some sort of, you know, modicum of respect and dignity over a prolonged period of time. You're always going to be a sucker. That problem is you more than anything. There are bad women in the West. Let me not say it's entirely you. Women in the West are crap, but 9 times out of 10, guys don't have their shit together, and then they want to go to another part of the world, and they don't have their shit together, and then it's just like, oh. And so you got to focus on you. Yes, they are better. They'll have about lower notch counts in general. You know, they'll have a society and a culture that shames them for like their worst behaviors. You know, things we used to have here before the West threw religion out the window. We talked about this in the opposite. This shows you how like down to earth and how real OG Logic is. Our conversations come full circle. When we religion in the West, we lost everything. Because without it, where do our morals and ethics come from? There is no atheist society in the history of man. So religion and culture are going to keep those women in check in terms of their behavior, but you still got to be that guy.
I would add something to that, Craig. I think you'd find a lot of difference moving from the city to the country. More like almost as much as you would moving from the West somewhere else. This has been my experience. Like I agree with everything. I agree with everything you said, Craig, about you have to have your shit together first.
Yeah.
But even if you really got your shit together, if you're going to go live in central London, it's very difficult to find. Women don't go to central London to. They go to London for one thing, and it's generally not what you want if you're a man that's serious about a relationship.
It's kind of a mess. Like, I think that's an environment you got to be.
So there are areas that are worse than others, and you can like your filter has to be good, and your self-respect has to be there, but you can have more options that are going to meet the filter in certain places.
Sadiq might be able to comment on this, especially from London. I mean, I say, you know, I generally don't mess with London girls, man. But you out there in the mix, so what's up with that, man? What's going on out there?
London girls. It depends on the demographic. You know what I mean? Like, it changes by the demographic. So, black community is more. You got to have your shit together if you want to get a high quality black girl. If you're going after an Asian girl, obviously, as a black man, we have black privilege, so you don't have to have your shit together. Do you know what I mean? You just have to kind of almost just turn up. Do you know what I mean? With the Arab girls, you kind of have to have your shit together. You know, you got to have. They're kind of similar to the black girls in terms of what they're looking for in a black man. I don't know how they look at men in their own communities because we see the world from a different spectrum, you know. So what's available to us isn't always available to the average Asian guy or Arab guy, you know what I mean? So I can only see it from our perspective. With the white girls, there's like there's a word we call shav. There's a shabby type who you don't have to have much to get them, and then there's a more like a, what do they call it? Not high class, what? West End. Let's just say West End, West London type, bit bougie. You just different world. So yeah, you just have to kind of understand the demographic you're going for and work around it
accordingly.
yeah, but that's it really. But it's a minefield out there. It's a minefield, you know.
I think traveling is a solution, but it's a solution to have your stuff together, and you don't want to deal with like heavy-handed game. In the West, game is important. You do have to have a degree of game, unless a woman is 100% really hot for you. Your game has to be on point. So, and if you go out towards the East in general, game is like hitting a freaking fly with a hammer. You know, it's just overkill. Don't you like you're nuts? And so that is pleasant. I'm not east. I'm talking east in like I'm talking far east. I'm not talking east.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's like hitting a fly with a hammer. It really is.
Okay.
You know, and so they're just looking like, what exactly is happening here? They don't have a clue what's going on. You're throwing eggs, you're playing games, you're doing this, that, the other, and they're just like, you weird them out. And it kind of shows you how significant the West has changed in terms of like intersexual dynamics, you know, and all this stuff, and trying to get together with women. You guys are asking about names and stuff and some people and whatever else. You guys asking about Joe Lampton. Joe Lampton, I'm cool with Joe Lampton. I'm cool with Joe. Joe's coming on the show actually this upcoming weekend. I like Joe. You know, I talk to him privately on what they call it, on Telegram or whatnot. You know, I talk to him sometimes on Twitter and private chats, whatever else. I'm cool with Joe. Joe is a guy. He talks a lot of crap and whatever else. He says stuff that I personally wouldn't say. But really, at the end of the day, when it comes down to posting receipts, he's good at posting his receipts. You know, you can see what he does. You know, and he's pretty open about that. He's in the cam industry. That, you know, his money comes from there and whatever else. And that he dropped a pretty good Instagram product about, what was it? Something about like Instagram game or something like this. I mean, that stuff was pretty solid. It's real stuff that works, you know. So I'm okay with Joe. I don't really kick it with him a whole bunch because I'm Muslim and he's got an extreme lifestyle that's extremely different than mine. And he has an extreme different way. I'm considered amongst Muslims to be highly eccentric in what I say. And he takes that to a whole nother level. I'd like to retweet him a lot of times, but just because of my demographic is Muslims and I belong to a community, I can't. So I generally like Joe. I just don't really mess with him a whole lot because it's like, you know, as a Muslim, that can land me under a bus. Anybody else?
I hang out. I mean, I've spent time with Joe since I've been here. You know, we've gone out to eat a few times. He and I have different views on things, for sure. There is, in my opinion, validity to some of the things that he says. I wouldn't say that that he's trying to deceive anyone or anything like that. I believe that Joe believes everything he puts out there. So it's not like he's coming from a place to where it's like a deception or something like that. I mean, this just goes back to, you know, the thing that I said earlier about like, I don't need to agree 100% with friends or with whatever. He's a younger single guy, and I'm an older married man. So yeah, there's some things that like we you know, part ways on as far as beliefs. However, I will say that since you brought up his Instagram course, and there is some stuff that he releases that has value for people and it works for people. So I don't believe that Joe is deceptive in any way. My big problem with the red pill and with the whichever is that a lot of these guys know they're preaching bullshit, or they're being hypocritical in the fact that they're telling you to live one way, and they're living a completely different way. Joe's not like that.
Joe never considered himself part of the red pill master anyway. That's another
part No, you know, but I'm just saying, you know, when we're talking about earlier about me calling out people or the way I think about certain people or whatever, and thank you for pointing that out, because yeah, he's never been a red pill dude, and Joe talks shit on red pill people too. But he is not somebody that's faking it. All the receipts that you see Joe post, those are real. He lives the life that he tells you he lives. So I mean, you know,
there you have it.
Hey, and here's something too, only because we were talking about this a second ago. There's this misconception, especially with Americans, that they show up with the blue passport, and Eastern European women just drop the pants and, you know, find an alleyway, and, you know, they just go at it right there. It's just like, hey, baby. You know, and they're just like, oh, you know, and they go, right? And like these dudes here, if you're in America, let me tell you something. These women over here know their value. American women do not. Okay, because if American women really knew what they were like, a American woman worth something, knew what her value was, she wouldn't be dating you on potential. She wouldn't be hooking up with you on mere game that you were spitting at her. Okay, these women over here know what they're worth. They know they're good looking. They don't have those issues that these American women have, and you actually have probably a harder time. Like you're not going to come over here and be sleeping with a chick on the first or second date. It's just not happening. It's not. They're gonna, you're gonna have to date them. You're gonna have to take them out. You're gonna have to do whichever, and then maybe down the road. So it's not like this easy thing to where it's like you think they're fucking waiting in bread lines or something, and you show up and, oh, the rich American, and they're like they're just gonna give it up. It's not like that. It's not.
This is I've actually seen this in Eastern Europe. I've traveled quite a bit in Eastern Europe, and a lot of dudes there, and it's not just American dudes. I met British guys. There's actually quite a lot of dudes that go out there who are basically just complete losers and failures in their original country, and they go out there because it's kind of like a cheap way to get a bit of easy, just because they're foreign and they don't have to really do anything different. There's actually quite a lot of these guys that do that. That's the trend I've noticed.
Are they successful though?
Sometimes.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know, man. The ones that I see that are worth anything, right? They're not just like American girls are easy. American girls you can hook up with off of potential. Oh, one day he'll make it, and like she'll give it up over that. These women out here, for the most part, they know what they're worth, and they want to know that they're going to be, at least that's what I've seen in Romania, and I've heard that there's,
Is Romania conservative? Is it a conservative country?
Yeah, it's a full on Orthodox Christian, like hardly any immigrants at all. Like pretty much I want to say it's like the high 90s of the population is Romanian, Orthodox Christian Romanian.
What you've just described there, Bobby, that sounds absolutely perfect if you actually do have shit together, because then the girls know their value, which means they'll have preserved their value, and they'll know exactly what they're looking for, which is going to be you if you're a high value man. So actually, that sounds. You don't have to deal with all the. There's a lot of don't want to be disrespectful to anyone, but trashy women. There's a lot of trashy women in the West.
Now to be fair, I mean, if you go, to like some club or some whichever, you could find a chick that might think you're the rich American, who might want to hook up. I mean, I'm sure there's some of those too, but like
there's going to be some of those. I mean, there's always going to be the chicks in every society and every culture, but that doesn't mean they make the norm.
Yeah, and they're like those ones are like noticeably skanky right off the bat. Like you'll just know you're getting into some no good if you try rolling around with those types. Like it's there's a different like it's not like one of the things over here like in the West. So like in America, right? You might be at a club and like or at a bar or somewhere, right? And like you see this chick looking at you and you're looking back at her and she's looking at you, right? And like you don't make the approach, and then like maybe a few minutes later her friend comes over and she's like, oh, my friend thinks you're cute, right? No, like try and open it up like that, right? That shit don't happen here. Like if she's looking at you and you're looking at her and you don't go make the approach, nothing happens, because that broad is not going to lower herself to the level of, oh, well, I'll just go talk to him first and I'll go. Oh, that's like an American. That's shit American girls do. They don't do that in Romania.
That's just a feminine role, though. Like they're more feminine women, so it's like
they're absolutely more feminine.
Where the man has to make the move, which is like how it be basically. To be honest,
no, man, they wear dresses, high heels, makeup, all that. I mean, they're feminine, and like they aren't making the first move. It's just not. If you don't go talk to her, you're not going to talk to her. That's it. Yeah, it's a lot different.
Guys, thanks for your questions.
2 hours, Jesus.
Yeah, we're up here on 2 hours. This has been. Oh, anybody got any sort of announcements? Anything you guys want to kick pop out before we head off? Anything you working on?
No, good.
All right, guys. All right, we're working on this betting course here. That's exactly why, this Tom came in town, just, stay on me. I'm on vacation, whatever else, we traveling and whatnot. We will be up on Twitter and Instagram. I'm not going to be on Twitter much, guys, but I will be on Instagram a lot. You see a lot of the traveling, taking around, whatever else. But we are doing some work out here. It's not all just funny games and stuff. So this has been OG Logic episode 7. Hey, check it out. If you want an episode and you want a topic and it's a good one, go ahead and drop it to me, Bobby, or Sadiq on Twitter. Send us a private message, tag us in a tweet, whatever else, and we will consider your topic if it's a good enough one. And you don't come with some goofy stuff, and we'll look at our topic up in here. This has been OG Logic. We are out.
Respect.